like a week, less than a week. I think it starts. Usually you can get it for about 50% off. So that's a pretty good. But anyway, let's get into another mission. So we're gonna do. We're gonna go to one of those planets that's a 1.5 difficulty right now, just to crank up the difficulty a little bit so we can get better mechs. So this is the star map here, and then you can filter here. So we want to go to 1.5, right? But we want to be near the travel contract. So we're going to take this one. Actually, that bounces us. Either way, it's going to bounce us through this planet. So we may just travel there, but not take the travel contract because it's a 2 skull. So we'll set course. No, we're not doing that. Okay, so when you're traveling and the days are passing on this game, you know I have mechs in repair, and in the top right you can see that. But here's what I'm talking about. So every 30 days, I got to make at least $250,000 just to pay the operating expenses every time. So I just have to do missions and not take a lot of damage to be able to pay all the fees. The more mechs that you have, and they can be in storage or whatever, you got to pay a small fee just to hold that mech. It's an operating cost. So this is 252K. So in the next 30 days, I need to make at least that minus damages in order to pretty much keep progressing. And then for the next month, it lets you choose if you want to increase or decrease morale based on paying people more, paying people less. So you always want to be on normal. Once you get your economy going, you start bumping it up, so that way your morale goes up. The morale of my guys is pretty good right now, so we're going to keep it on normal. But that's all that is. Alright, so these events happen randomly as you travel, and you've got to choose, like, are you going to be a detriment to your crew or give a bonus? So basically this says, you know, hey, they're pulling up inventory. Why do we keep patching our supplies in dribs and drabs? Can't we get some kind of bulk discount and get ahead of the problem? God knows what end up. Look, if you have access to black market, you'd get this discount. Or I can pay 25K and boost the medical efficiency. And what that'll do is if I have an injured pilot, for the duration of the injury, I would get a bonus. But the reality is, I don't have any injured pilots. I don't need to pay that money. But if I put off replenishing supplies, I'll get a negative morale hit. So we'll just buy the minimum. So I lose 5,000. We don't get any bonus. Just because I've done that a few times, so I've seen it. But that's what that is. Alright, we're going to kick off a mission here in just a minute. We're just going to wait for it to go through the jump ship animation. So anytime you depart, you have to take a jump ship, so you got to pay a fee to dock to the ship, and it'll jump to another system, and then you can get off of there and go do your mission. But the only way to travel the galaxy in BattleTech is to essentially attach yourself to these big jump ships. And later in the game, you do get your own ship that is capable of FTL, but right now we're just using a much smaller ship to carry our mechs.
I wrapped up that job you asked for, Commander.
Alright, so the repairs to both of our mechs are complete as we travel. So we'll have a full complement essentially on the next run. And what we're going to do here is we've arrived, so there's a store on every planet that you can visit, and you can kind of go through and see what things they have for sale. They don't really have much here. There's some arm modules, which gives you an increased melee strength, melee hit, but nothing good. So we're going to go into Command Center contracts and see what they have available to us. Alright, so here's all the contracts. We've got quite a few. So any marked with the yellow mark down here means that if I complete this, I am going to get plus rep with that faction and possibly negative rep to another faction. So we're going to start knocking out these missions. The 1.5 is about the farthest we can go right now. But we'll start with the, let's see, mopping up. That's probably going to be a mech versus mech. Managed to partially repair their mechs. Okay, so this is against a Capellan Lance. So this is going to be a 5v5, essentially, or 4v4, however it wants to do it. And we do want mech parts from this, so we're going to keep this right in the middle We could get up to 500,000, but the way it works is if I take more money, I can take less mech parts, right? And we're after mech parts. So we can choose one, we get 7. We can choose one, we get 5. So we'll put it right there. So either way, we're only going to get 1 piece guaranteed. So I'll accept that. So here's our mech loadout. We're going to take a Centurion, Blackjack, Saddlehawk, and Spider. We're going to leave the Vindicator and Locust behind. And we'll go ahead and deploy that. So again, this is Iron Man, which means any move that I make in these fights is final. If I lose like a mech or a pilot gets killed, then that's permanent.
Command interface initiated.
Alright, so it is nighttime, so that'll impact our vision.
Ready for action.
And we're going to take a look at any bonuses we see. So it's tundra biome, so heat sinks. We're not going to have problems with overheating because it's cold. Forest. Okay. Start moving up. We'll move our scout into position first. Okay, didn't detect any enemy units, so we'll go ahead and sprint all of our units up behind it.
Position confirmed.
And you can see that orange marker up there is generally where the enemy units are. What I want to do is I want to get up on this hill where this forest is to not be in a situation where I could get heavily ambushed.
Good to go.
Commander. On my way.
Confirmed.
Alright, we made contact with enemy. We see at least one mech. Alright, so now it's going to swap to the turn-based portion of this. And we're going to see people coming down the hillside. So what we're going to do with this, because I know that they're going to advance towards me, I'm going to reserve my scout and let the enemy take a turn. Okay, so they didn't get close enough to really cause a problem. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and start moving these guys
Yes,
up.
Commander. Coordinates received.
Waiting on you, Commander.
Trying to get these guys up into that forest. I don't want to be caught in the open against 3 mechs, and it looks like one of them may be a heavy mech because I see it on the 2 initiative up there. And that's going to be really difficult for us to take down.
Waiting for orders.
So for this guy, I want to keep him at max. But I don't want him to get spotted yet. So we'll keep him at max initiative. I'm going to jump him all the way to the other side. So that way when they come down the hill, they're going to get spotted by my light. And then I put him in cover and brace, just in case they do shoot at him. That's a dragon. Yeah, okay. That's a very high damage mech. Alright, takes an evasion pip off my light. No problem. Alright. So at this point,
What's up,
what
boss?
we're going to do is I'm gonna put this mech far on the other side.
Up high.
Basically out of firing, but I'm gonna use the sensor lock ability to be able to see this mech
Got a lock.
regardless of where I am. Okay, that's a javelin. See, that stray shot hit my other mech there because it's too close together. I don't like the positioning that they're in.
Orders.
So let's go
Waiting for orders.
with the Centurion. Centurion's just going to have to take the brunt of it, unfortunately.
Acknowledged.
And then we're going to have to kind of just almost flank around and then come in from the other side, but I'm in a position that I don't like. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do Vigilance to give him guarded and entrenched this turn, which will increase his defenses. And then I'll fire everything at the dragon. A Phoenix Hawk? Holy shit. Okay, that's not good. Luckily, I gave him guarded and entrenched, so that's gonna deal with a lot of damage. That's a big mech, though, so that's actually a big problem. So now we're in a position where we need to be able to use the jump jets, and I'm actually gonna jump Blackjack into the water back here because the ACs on it have a really long range, but the water's going to help with the heat generation. So, back here again at the dragon.
All weapons committed.
Alright, got an ammo explosion on that, which injured the pilot. So that dragon's pretty much out of commission at this point.
What can I do for you?
Same thing here, we're going to pull this Shadowhawk back into the water.
Taking the high road.
And then we're going to fire everything at the dragon.
Got it.
Alright, we killed his LRM on that
When
shot.
I shoot you, you'll take it.
So
and
that
light-
dragon doesn't have much combat capability left.
Damn it! I'm wounded.
Okay, we actually took a
Damage is
pilot
light.
headshot there. And it was with a large caliber gun, which means our cockpit is heavily weakened on that. But that's a risk that we just have to take because we have to allow that Centurion to absorb the damage from these bigger mechs.
Yes, Commander.
And what we did last time is we used Vigilance on this, which moved my initiative up. So the reason I did that is, number one, I can move this a bit to continue kind of putting it in front of my other mechs. And we're going to do it just like that.
Coordinates received.
But it'll also let me finish off this dragon real quick. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to give him Vigilance again to give him Bulwark and Entrenched because he's not in the forest right now. And then we're going to fire everything we got at this dragon to finish it off.
Taking the shot.
There we go. The dragon's toast. So now we can put our attention towards one of the two bigger mechs. This is a light. I'm not really too worried about the javelin, honestly. But
Systems holding.
this is a problem, the Phoenix Hawk.
Ready for orders.
So if we can bring it down, then you know, that'll be awesome. Let's see. I need it as far as I can go, but still be able to shoot the Phoenix Hawk. So actually, let's do this. Let's let the Phoenix Hawk move first. We'll reserve our
Holding
scout
for tactical
and let
advantage.
them move. Oh crap! He's going into melee. That's not good. It's not good, people. All right, so he exposed the structure.
Armor blow through. Internal damage.
on my mech, which is really bad for me. So we're going to use everything but the behemoth right now. We're going to go ahead and unload on this Phoenix Hawk with everything we got. We do not really have to move at this point with these mechs. But the AC2s, if you look, have a really bad percentage chance of hitting. So what we're going to do is we're going to take Decker. And this is why we did a reserve on this. We're going to jump him into the woodlands up here. I'm going to start chasing down that other...
Engaging jump jet.
light with my light. But we're in a situation now where the likelihood that I'm going to lose a mech is really high.
Sensors locked on.
So we're going to pull the evasion pips off of him. Now if you look at the chance to hit, it's much, much higher on everything. So 75-80%, but our AC2s are at 35% because the mech is too close. So what we want to do is we actually want to do a little hop back here into the wooded area. And you can see which weapons and how far they can shoot with this. So by hopping back, we're going to put it in the envelope. We're just too close for these things right now. And now we're going to fire everything at the Phoenix Hawk.
All weapons committed.
Alright, structures exposed on the Phoenix Hawk. Now we've got glitch. Essentially, we're doing the same thing here, except we don't need to move it because it's got an AC5. The AC5 operates a little bit differently, and that puts us at about the edge. I'm going to do the same thing, jump back. And we're putting all this fire essentially into the arm. If I can take the arm out, that's going to disable the weapon on this.
Commencing Alpha Strike.
Alright, there we go.
Another hit like
So
that.
that's
and
one
you're
arm
toast.
toast on that.
Damn it! I'm hit.
Okay, that's a second head hit.
Reporting internal damage.
So we have a real problem now. If we take another shot to the cockpit, that pilot could be dead.
Yes, Commander. Jumping. On it.
Okay, now it's Behemoth's turn.
Commander.
So now we're going to turn in, and we're going to go full melee. But before we do that, here's how you check how much damage you've done. So to the cockpit, almost all of our armor is gone, and we only have 16 structure. The left arm only has, the right arm only has 2. So it's highly likely I'm going to lose that arm before the end of this. And then the left leg has got most of its armor gone. Everything else is fairly intact. But the arm is extremely exposed. So anyway, that's where we're at on this. But unfortunately, this is one of those situations where you have to turn into it. So more than likely, I'm going to lose the arm. But I need to go into melee, which will do 70 damage to the Phoenix Hawk, and the chance that it'll hit the exposed structure and it'll kill this Phoenix Hawk. If it doesn't, we're in trouble. So here we go. We're doing melee. Because even if I fired everything, it doesn't do... It does almost that much damage. But I'm so close in range, the AC is not going to hit, which does the most damage. So that's why we're going melee. So we're going to go there.
Locked on for physical attack.
Alright, so there's 70 in structure. I think he has decided that this is a bad plan. Yep. He's decided to go after the Shadowhawk.
Nice try.
Alright, my turn. Excellent. Let's just check that. It's bad. We're going to have to take off a laser, maybe both lasers. Let's take off an AC2 and keep lasers. Keep one laser. Just because the percentage chance is so low. we're going to go for a core shot to finish this off.
Engaging target.
Alright, there we go. Big Mac's toast.
Enemy
So now all I got to worry about is that little guy.
I hear ya.
And we're basically just going to brawl it. We're going to get as close as we can, and we're going to brawl it. And he may turn and run. I don't know.
Uh-huh. Firing everything I've got.
Yeah, his evasion pips were super high there, so...
Commander?
Let's grab Decker. We're going to come in behind this light at this point and kind of provide some supporting fire. But I'm just going to walk because the
move.
heat on the spider is really high from using the jump jets, even in this terrain. So I just need to bring it down a bit. But we'll use the scout to remove 2 evasion pips off of this guy. And then we kill. Go for the kill. Still having heat issues.
Engaging target.
There's one arm down. That means one less weapon I gotta deal
Waiting
with.
for orders.
And we're just gonna move this right into melee. Since it's
Don't need
a
to tell
lighter
me
mech, the amount of damage it takes from melee is pretty massive. Okay, we took out a leg and the LT section. Light torso, or left torso and left
critical
leg.
hit.
So he's gonna drop to the ground, take yet another injury. And if we do one more injury to it, so 3 injuries, it's gonna incapacitate the pilot, and that'll be done.
Waiting for orders.
So now we're going to move our Centurion up.
Roger that.
And I'm going to go straight for a core shot because I don't want to risk any damage to the Centurion beyond what it's already damaged.
Confirmed.
Let's test. Pilot in cap. And that should be the end of that.
Target neutral.
There we go.
Mission
done.
successful.
Alright, so here's how you get your rewards. Essentially, every time you complete a mission, your Mercenary Review Board rating will continue to go up, which unlocks more missions available to you and kind of progresses the game overall. Then your morale, it'll give you a little bit of increase in morale when you complete missions successfully. And then it's going to show you your payout that you get and any bonuses that we would get. We didn't do any bonus, there were no bonus objectives, so we don't get any extra money. And then the next thing it's going to do is take you to this screen where it's going to say, hey, this is what's damaged, this is how much XP you made, here's how many injuries you have. So this pilot, Behemoth, is now injured for 40 days. So that isn't over a whole cycle. So I'll have to use a substitute pilot to pilot his mech during that 40-day period. So anyway, we'll go ahead and hit next. This is our parts. So the Dragon is a 60-ton mech. That is the biggest mech that we've seen so far. Phoenix Hawk really isn't that good, but this is the biggest thing we've seen, period. So we're going to take that part. And so that's our guaranteed piece of salvage that we're going to get out of this mission. So when we click confirm, it's going to give me an additional 4 pieces at random from this list of salvaged materials. So we're going to click confirm. Okay, it also gave us the Phoenix Hawk. So that's okay. Now you can see 0 of 4. That means I need 4 of these dragon pieces to actually get the mech. And then I still have to repair it, arm it, everything. So it does take a while, and you never know what you're going to run into in missions. It can take a little while to obtain the larger mechs and essentially increase your tonnage that you can drop. So we do have a character out of action. We are still going to go into our mech bay real quick. And then we're just going to do the repairs on this and see how long. 3 days, no big deal. We'll click repair. We are going to want that mech for our next mission, so we'll wait a few days for it to repair. So by doing that, we go into our star map. And, sorry, I need to go into Mech Bay, Command Center. We want to go into the hiring hall because we may need another mech and we want to see what they have. So they do have a scout. We don't want a scout. We're looking for somebody with gunnery and guts, ideally. Unfortunately, all of these have 2 gunnery, which is really bad. There is one guy that has 4 guts. The guts is basically your pilot hit points, right? So the more you have, the better it tends to be. So we're going to recruit this mech warrior and start leveling it up because we are short, essentially, a pilot at this point. And then we're going to go back into our leopard. Sorry. Let's go out of this screen. And we are going to just move this ahead 3 days real quick. 1, 2, and 3.
That work order you submitted?
Alright, so now our mech's back, but we still weren't going to have this pilot for a while. That's the result of essentially not doing as well as I wanted to, but taking headshots, it just happens sometimes. And you can mitigate that. There are parts that you can find that prevent, like if you take a headshot, it will prevent a pilot injury, but we just don't have access to those at this point. So the next thing we're going to look at real quick is we're going to look at the store, and nothing's changed. Okay, so that's going to be the next contract at this point. So again, we're working our way up on these contracts. We want to take the easier contracts first and kind of get into a position where we have better mechs to do the double skull ones. So anyway, this one's 1.5, this one's 1. This is a factory recall, so could be a mech factory powering up. Okay, so we need to find and destroy it. If we act quickly, we can deal with this before any mechs are produced. If you do come across any newly produced mechs, of course, you should reduce them to scrap as well. So it looks like we have a factory we need to destroy. There is going to be a lot of salvage in this mission, so it's going to give us a choice of 3 components, and we're going to get $250,000 from that as well. So we could reduce this down to 2, which is fine, and 8. 2 selected components, and we get a little more cash. I'm okay with that. And we're going to click accept. Again, this is the loadout we're going to take. This pilot is injured, as you can see on the screen, so this is not an option for us to take. We're going to keep drill bit there, but I do have Medusa, which is a kind of one that I can slot in a pinch. So we're going to take those pilots. Unfortunately, this pilot doesn't have any skills. So let's back out and just quickly check our... So you can go into your barracks for your mech warriors here. And this is how you train all your mech warriors. And I could go to Medusa, and I can see that, okay, this character has 300 XP total.
Good to go.
This character has 1,500 to spend, but there's not really anything to spend it on.
Waiting for orders.
Then there's drill bit.
Orders?
Then we have Decker, we're working on piloting, so